Hey, what's up? How are you? Hope you'll be fine. So, welcome to my video. I am Tanish, standing here to deliver my thought process and my views on 80-20 principle, which is also called Pareto's principle. But before I start to discuss my topic, I would like to heartily thank Salesh sir, Neeraj sir, Sushil sir, and all the other eminent members of this prestigious GKM team to enlighten us and to design a path of golden success to us and for the future aspiring kids and people. What you think, you become. What you feel, you attract. And what you imagine, you create. So, let's come to our topic. 80-20 principle, which is also called as Pareto's principle, is a simple rule which connotates that just 20% of our actions that we take in our diurnal life will drive us 80% of the results, and hence the principle. So, you might have understood that how much this principle can be a game changer in our lives. So, with this peak of interest, let's go into the topic and carve inside the discovery of 80-20 principle. Vilfredo Pareto, who was an Italian economist, was searching throughout the wealth distribution and income of England in 1897. During his study, he observed a weird fact that 80% of the land and wealth was owned by just 20% of people, and on further deliberation of his study, he found out that this principle was not only true for the other countries and the ancient times, but it was also true for the other things except wealth. And for instance, if I give you an example, in his own garden, 80% peas, just 80%, the 80% peas were grown through 20% of the pea pods. And the time comes that the new principle was discovered, which is 80-20 principle, also called as Pareto's principle. And this 80-20 principle applies scientifically in most of the areas, including business, study, relationship. And this principle says that 80% of the results that we achieve in our life comes from just 20% of our actions. Further researchers found that this principle was working in daily issues too. For example, 20% criminals responsible for 80% crimes. If we further see, 20% drivers are the cause of 80% of accidents. Further, 20% married people are a part of 80% divorces. Just 20% roads have 80% traffic. We wear 20% clothes 80% times. Thus 20% drinkers drink 80% worldwide. 20% land gives 80% food and minerals. And 20% clouds gives 80% precipitation. If I give you instances one by one, we will not end up, because there are infinite of examples that we see in our daily life regarding 80-20 principle. So now concluding these all the instances, we might say less is more. And this principle does not teach us we should reduce our focus on those things which drives us, which gives us negligible results. And we know that the things which will not give us results, why should we wonder about focusing on these? And so initially it was the principle was related to the business related matters, but nowadays it has been applicable to almost all aspects of life. Now, by keeping in concern the demand of the topic, I would like to discuss how my brain understands this principle. Firstly, 80-20 principle teaches us that how we need to prioritize and categorize our targets. What we make a list of targets, how we have to categorize our daily goal targets. Secondly, it expounds us that less is more. Sometimes when we have deficit time to complete a target, we tend to think that we will maximize our time of effort to 18 hours a day, say 20 hours a day, and so on. But we all know we are human beings. We also got tired. We also have lack of energy. So at this time, 80-20 principle comes into play. We can initially focus on those 20% things of our target that will obtain us 80% results, and hence the principle. Thirdly, focus on those things that builds great results. Why? Because the things which are not giving us fruitful result, why should we wonder focusing about these things? We can leave those things to another time when we have completed our main prioritized work. So, pulling this principle into my life, primarily, I use this principle for time management. How? As Elon Musk says, I do the same thing by setting in time blocks for a particular target and completing them eventually, as they have been fixed upon a certain event. And secondarily, I use Pareto for prioritization of my daily goals and put those 20% targets on high priority, which derives 80% results. Secondarily, I use this principle to exercise my body too, because I used to exercise many reps as it is required. I enhance reps of those 20% exercises that pumps out my body and veins to 80% efficiency. See, the again the same principle comes into play, which is Pareto's principle. Even in our physical exercises, that is our body exercise, 80-20 principle comes into play. So let me tell you an interesting story of mine. When I was studying in class 10th, I was studying in CBSE board, so my boards were so near. At that time, I have used 80-20 principle unknowingly because I wasn't aware that time about this principle. So I focus on those 20% chapters of syllabus first that carry 80% marks of the from the examination perspective. So this would be a great example of using this principle in your daily life. So at last, with this warm topic, I would like to conclude my words by saying that educate, organize, agitate, and don't forget to use 80% principle in your life from now.